Hi everyone. Welcome to my shop. Today we have the distinct pleasure of talking a little bit about type and looking at how to set up paragraph and character styles. Everyone's favorite hobby. So let's get to it. Something's spinning here. I don't know what that is. Ah. Anyway, we're going to start off. We're going to do all this in InDesign. We're going to look at the easiest way to set this up. I like to do it all visually. It's a little easier to kind of judge sizes and if things are actually working or not. So let's get started. I like to do this in our little guide that we started making to show our production. I also like coffee a lot. So file, I'm gonna find my file. Oh, it's right here. So this should have your information for your masthead on it already. Rough placements, maybe some reference material, probably some reference material. That page appears to be blank on mine. Not okay, not okay. I guess I'll forgive myself for now, but we'll have to come back to that. So what I'm going to do is add an extra page at the end. Maybe I'm just going to use this one for now. And I'm going to, there's a grid underneath here already. So what I'm going to do is kind of change some of this information. I'm not going to call this page masthead research. I'm going to call it paragraph styles. Styles. I don't know. I don't remember what his real name was, but I remember there was a guy on the movie Teen Wolf named Styles. So what I'm going to do is I'm looking at this page and I see I can go 3, 6, 9. So I can put 3 different options for paragraph styles on one page. Now, setting this thing up is kind of interesting because the first thing everyone does is makes a text box and fills it with placeholder text. Let's not do that. Lorem ipsum is, I don't know, okay if you know exactly how many characters are going to be in a document. We don't. We have an idea of what articles we want to use because we already filled out that survey before. So what I'm going to do is kind of use some of that information. I've copied one of those articles to a text file. Actually, most of them already. So I'm going to find them. Maybe. If I can remember where I put things, we're gold. Yes. So I have a couple articles here. Let's open up this one. Oh, that's the Ed Roth one. I'll use the Devo one. You guys like Devo? Me too. So this is set. This is just default off their off the website. I kind of borrowed this from, and I'm going to credit them and the writer, obviously. I am going to change it to plain text because I don't want any paragraph styles to carry along with this. If you bring in other paragraph styles, I don't know. Weird things happen, and they're probably not anything like what you want anyway. So I'm going to copy a good chunk of text, maybe this much. That should be enough to get through this. It's just a piece of it, but it's enough so that I can see I can have a headline up here, a byline. We can have a lead. There's enough little quotes in here where I can do a pull quote out of it. So I'm going to borrow this. Maybe we'll get a little bit more just in case. There. So I'm just going to copy it. You could paste this in. You could place it into InDesign. I'm just going to paste it in right now. So what I need to do is go to my type tool and create a text box. And it is going to be 3 columns wide. And I'm going to paste in that text that I just copied. There it is. Look at it all. So it's going to default to whatever you're using. Default is what? Minion? Minion Pro. 12 point over 14.4. There it is. Look at that. We'll zoom in on it because we need to see what's going on here. Now I've got a pretty good chunk of the information here, and this is all set at 12 point. Now 12 point is, definitely not the best size for any type. It's weird. It's awkward. Don't use it. Let's not use it. Plus, it's the default. We don't want defaults on anything. So I have enough there. Look, I can copy it. 2, does it fit? 3. Perfect fit. So I'm just going to stick with this one. I'm going to cut it into little pieces. So first, I'm going to grab, well, let's grab everything, because I'm not going to use Minion for anything. I'm just going to grab everything, Command A. And we're going to change this. I'm going to open my character window because I don't like that bar on the top. I like to look, it's right there. They're friends now. And I can see everything going on here. I've got Minion Pro. And I am going to, let's zoom in on this thing. Change all this information. So again, I'm going to do it visually. Let's do a base swap out on this thing first. So pick something that you know, something you're familiar with, something you may have used before. Let's say, I don't know, for a body type. What do you guys think? Maybe like Scala. Scala is nice. Not caps though. That's crazy talk. I'm going to zoom out because I can't move around my windows. Scala regular. There it is. It's nice. It already looks better. Look at that. Nice little square serifs. Very legible. Everything's there that we need. Now, the next step, 12 point, not amazing. So let's automatically, I'm going to go to like 10. Maybe 9. Maybe 9. Let's go to 9. Let's get crazy. I like small type. It's a preference. I like to go with a little bit smaller type and maybe give it a little bit more room so you could read it a little easier. It's up to you how you want to handle that. Now, this first one, I'm going to use all the same type style because we're not going to get into like matching up fonts or anything like that. The next one, we'll mix them together. So now for the headline, this top line, we're obviously going to do our first step in setting hierarchy. Let's make it larger. And don't worry if it starts like cutting off some of your type or anything like that. That's 29. That's pretty big. Let's go 30. No, 36. Let's go crazy. What? Yeah, that's crazy. There we go. And we'll have to go in and kind of put a couple, okay, it does fit, returns in there to kind of force our lines down. I don't like names broken up. I don't really like any hyphenation in a headline at all, but there we go. So now we've got a headline, and all I did is make it larger. It already looks a little bolder because it's bigger, but we can go in and make it bold. Maybe we can go crazy and make it like italic for titles, whatever. Why not? Now let's go regular. I'm just going to go bold though. Yes. That's it. Turn off guides so we don't have to look at that too. I can see the little plus there, so I know it's cutting some of my text off. But it's okay because I'm just using this to kind of get a feel for how I want this stuff to look. Byline, we're going to make a little bit different. So let's leave it, regular. Go smaller, down to like 7 points. And I'm going to give it, oh, Jesus. Like 4/1000ths of an M. Like it's not that much space, but enough so that at small sizes it looks a little bit better, a little easier to read. So there's everything. We'll set a lead. So maybe this first sentence, we're going to go larger. We're going to go italic. Oh my goodness. Not a lot larger, like 1 point bigger. You can go crazy if you want. I don't know. $14 points? They don't have to mess with our leading there either, though. So we're going to force a break there, just so that we don't mess with that type too. So there we go. There's our lead. You've got a nice little headline, byline, a lead, and then our body paragraph. One thing we are going to add into this, we're going to pull quote out. So let's say, so I'm going to take a quote out of there, and I'm going to make a new text box. I'm going to paste it in. We are going to make this larger too. Go really big. And then we could play around with like spacing and what we want to do on that. Maybe I want to change it so it's right, justified even, depending on where it goes. So let's say this is going to be my pull quote for this particular article. I'm going to plop it on here against that left column. And then I'm going to put a text wrap on it, just so we can see what it looks like here. Now, it's too tight here for my liking. Look at those. They're like touching. Uncomfortable. We want to give them a little bit more room. So click this little box that we've got a text wrap on, and there's a text wrap window built in to your program, and you can tell it you want to put more room around that text. So there we go. So I've got, a pretty decent block of text here now. I'm going to leave it left right now. You can go through and maybe justify it if you're feeling crazy. If you like nice, even, long blocks of text. Going to take a little more adjusting on that one, because depending on your page size and how wide your columns are, it might edit that little bit of information. Good. So that works. We're pretty happy with this so far. I'm going to leave that. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different paragraph styles on one piece of type. Now, that's enough to really work through most of your magazine. You don't really need anything else, with the exception of occasionally, maybe we want to put indents on our following paragraphs. That's fine. We could set that in our actual style when we do that. But you really won't need more than this. And we didn't combine any typefaces. We kept it all to the same thing. The one cool thing about this typeface in particular, get back here, is if we use Scala, there's also, scroll down, a sans serif version. So I could kind of mix this up. And where's my sans down here? I don't want to go that bold. That's just crazy talk. There we are. So there I have a nice little block cut out to draw some interest into this thing. So you're breaking up this text. It's important to have these little things like pull quotes and leads. Everything needs to be broken up into little chunks, because you want to force people to read through this information. So pick the interesting parts, put them on there. People's eyes are going to go to that. They're going to read it, and they're going to say, oh, you know what? Maybe I should read this article. If it's all just set one big block of weird text, there's a strong chance they're not going to read it. They're going to look at it and they're going to say, Oh, this dude doesn't even know anything about type. What is that? Minion 12 point? Pfft, garbage. So we're going to show them that we know a little bit about type, and we're going to change this stuff. Make it our own. I'm not going to go into styles yet. I'm just going to kind of leave this. I'm going to make a copy of it. So I'm going to turn my guides back on, and I'll copy it right here. Now this one, I'm going to try to combine. Oh, I forgot that guy. There we go. Whew. We almost left our pull quote out of there. So there we go. We've got one here. I'm going to put another one right beside it. Don't go crazy. We don't need to bring in any extra elements or anything like that. We're just going to keep them on here. So for this one, I'm going to start switching out some fonts. So let's say headline. Again, you're going to have fonts that you're used to and you know how they're going to look. Use them. It's fun. Maybe I'm going to use like big, gross, gouty, heavy face. I think it's an italic. There is. Look at that. That's classy. Now we have a couple problems because it's going to actually cut his name apart. I guess we can force it down to the next line. I can go a little smaller too, I guess. That's going to give me a little more room with my type as well. Turn off the guides. We don't need to look at those. So there we go. That's nice. Look how bold it is now too. And now I'm going to combine, at least we're going to use 2 fonts. We don't need to go that crazy, but we're going to use 2. Now for this, I used Goudy Heavy Face. Maybe I'm going to, look, Goudy has other typefaces. Maybe we'll kind of keep them together. I'm going to pick something really kind of simple for these. Again, just what I have loaded on the system right now. Maybe I'll go with boring old avant-garde. It's like the opposite of... Come on, buddy. There it is. It's like the opposite of this very elaborate type style. And then down here, let's say, maybe we'll stick with it. So we'll have like a lead made out of our avant-garde. Again, I don't like really using the condensed one. I'm going to use a nice light one. And then I can look. I know that our good buddy Freddie Goudy made other fonts. So let's look at what else he's got. We've got old style. Let's just use Roman, I guess. I don't know why this thing's... Oh, it's because that weird thing's running in the background. There we are. So I've changed the body type, and you see this one looks a little bit smaller than the one on the left. Same size, 9/12, 9/12, but it looks a lot smaller. So we're going to come in here, and maybe I'll use Goudy, but I'll use like bold italic maybe. And maybe we need to go a little bit smaller with it again because it's a little bit rounder typeface. But there we are. So now I made this a little bit smaller just so it fits in my text box here. But you can see because of the different kind of shape of these letters, it's not going to fit perfectly in that little box. It's going to actually drop an extra line down. I'm not going to move it around right now just so we can see the exact same pages with how they look with different things. If I leave it, how big was this? 24. Let's make sure this is still 24. Just for argument's sake. Now what I'm going to have to do is make this a little wider. There we go. Put a period there too, I guess. Keep them even. Even Stevens. There we go. So there, I had to go a little wider with this one just because the wider type. This is a nice condensed kind of italic, so you can fit a lot more in there. So I've got two fairly different looking paragraph styles here. One over here with just Scala, but I've got a serif and a sans serif of the same type style. This one, I've kind of mixed up. I got our good buddy Freddie Gowdy. We've got Avant-Garde in here. Oh my goodness. Amazing. Let's put one more. So we're gonna have 3 of these on one sheet. And don't worry about that little plus on the bottom. I know there's type missing. Trying to preview that little text wrap, but it doesn't matter right now. How close am I? Pretty close. Oh, that's getting too tight. Move him out there. So, here we are. Good. Make sure everything's nice and tight to our columns. Good. So this last one, I'm going to do a completely different approach. I'm going to look at the same styles, but we're going to pick different fonts for them. Headline. Let's go with something really kind of like really legible and we got loaded in here. Meta black, maybe like really big and bold. There we go. And it looks like I can go a little larger with that one even. I can. I have to be a little bit careful on how I adjust my leading on that one. But I've got meta there. Let's pick interstate. I'm going to keep with meta for this because it's a nice, very legible typeface. So normal. This is our lead, so maybe I'm just going to make it small caps. I'm going to get crazy. And down here, meta normal. I want the Roman version. And again, this looks a little larger than that now. So we're looking a little closer to that size. But this one's a little bit bolder. It's a nice, as far as a sans serif goes, it's really legible. The proportions are nice. Let's use it. This one I gotta do a little adjusting because again that type is gonna look a little bit different. So I've got 3 fairly different looking layouts without getting crazy with headlines or anything like that. We're just setting the styles for this thing right now. We're just gonna set these things up and you're gonna find which one you like. We can go in and kind of put a rule between these if we want, so we can break it up in our brain so we know we're looking at 3 different things. Whoa. Intense. The same block of text presented 3 different ways. So this is the base for setting up your paragraph styles. Now we're going to look at these together and we'll figure out which ones we want. For now, save it. And then we're going to export a PDF into that same folder. Name it Styles, I guess. We only need that one page. I think it was page 4, I'm guessing. No, 3. Export. Overset text, we know because it fell out of that little box. And there's our PDF. So this is what we're going to use to present to our friends and show them exactly what we want to use. We'll talk about it, and we're going to figure out which one will work the best. You can, start flowing ahead if you really like, just using one type stuff through it. Cool, go for it. Start setting up paragraph styles. Next video, I'll go over setting up the paragraph styles themselves. Not really that crazy. This is important though, looking at different options for the same thing. So we've got 3 different paragraph styles on one sheet of paper. Pretty amazing. Pretty close to the size that we'd actually be using this in our magazine. And that's kind of important to make sure that everything's going to work properly. So we've got everything we need in here. This is the start of our magazine. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty happy.